Hello everyone, this is Board Games Bourbon. I'm Glenn Flaherty, and right now I'm going to talk to you about Fort Sumter, the digital adaptation of the GMT game by the same name. Now this is by the creator who made a lot of heavy war games like Fire in the Lake and other things like that, but this one is 20 to 40 minutes, it's card driven, the price point is also lower, around $35 or less as you can find it, and this one really spoke to me for all of those reasons. Considering it's COVID times and I'm playing a lot of games solo, I downloaded it because it was on sale, I think for under $3, and I gave it a shot, and I'm glad I did because what it told me was I do not want the actual game. Now, the digital implementation is actually very good. The graphics are great, it has great audio, it has voiceovers and stuff like that. It explains the game very well through a tutorial. But the game itself actually falls apart, and it feels like it's just a game full of patches. I'll talk about that in a minute. So let's talk slightly about gameplay, and then I'll tell you what my issues are with it. So here we are on the splash screen, a great visual, nice music. You can play offline, online. You can create accounts for yourself. We're going to do offline, lower left corner, play offline. It brings you here. It talks about the turns, the final crisis, what you're going to do. I'm going to play offline lobby, which I'm going to play against an AI. I'm not going to do the tutorial, which is very detailed and really wonderful, really teaches you the game, but I'm going to press create game. And now you can play as the Unionist or the Secessionist. What you're going to do is try to win the game by having area control over 3 rounds, and then kind of like a final, I want to say game of chicken, rock, paper, scissors kind of final round. Okay, so I'm going to play as the Unionist. They're going to be the Secessionists. I'm going to press start game in the lower right corner. And now it's loading the game. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to get 4 cards. I play 3 of them, and I get 2 objectives per round. There's 3 rounds. There's some cubes I move, and ultimately, you don't want to hit some triggers. Now, I'm not going to play through the whole game, but what I am going to do is explain how it rolls. Okay, so if we look at the far left here, you're going to see there's a bunch of cubes in gray and in blue. I'm playing as the blue character. When I place cubes, you can see I go from the low side of the left that has cubes I can use, and then enters a yellow, and then into an orange, and then into a red. And what that means is when I crack the yellow plateau, I get 2 die. When I crack the next plateau, there's a person that comes out. When I crack the next plateau, I actually get a -1 point if I'm the first person to do it, but I get 4 cubes, whereas the other person does not get a negative point and only gets 2 cubes used for area control. If we look at the actual map, they're broken down into yellows, reds, greens, and kind of like grays with a star on it. And basically, you want to control all the colors, like all of the yellows, or all the grays, or all the reds. Those are going to let you manipulate cube placements, and then there's one that has an extra border that's more powerful than the rest. Lastly, in the namesake of the game, Fort Sumter, there is a pentagon on the far right of the screen that says Fort Sumter, and you get a point if you control that. If we look at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see these cards here. They have a few different items on it. In the upper corner, it has a number. That's how many cubes I can place on the board anywhere I want. Now, I'm playing as the blue player. So if I were to play this card, I could only use the 1 and place 1 cube. If I played a card, let's say like this one that is blue, I could place 2 blue cubes, or I can do the event. In this case, it lets me add 3 tokens to an armament, which is the red. Okay, they're more powerful things only I can use. You're also going to notice on the card, upside down, there's a label of different colors. That's for that kind of rock, paper, scissors kind of end thing where you pull cards and you hope you're not magic. So I have 4 of those in different qualities for the different areas on the map, and each round I have to play an objective. This one here says I'm going to win newspapers. If I do that, I get to move some tokens around. Over here, if I choose this one says State Assembly, I get to move some tokens around. State Assembly is a green area, whereas newspapers is a green area, but it's the circle. It's the main one in the center, kind of to the right of the board. You're going to pick one of those as your objective. Your opponent is going to pick one too, and you're going to get a point if you can actually fulfill and control that one. And you're going to do this every single round, okay? Now, I'm not going to play through the whole thing because it's going to take a few minutes to do, but ultimately what you find yourself doing is playing cards so that turn by turn you're in the position to meet your goal. I wouldn't say there's actually a long-term strategy. And if you really went through it and you placed all your cubes and you can only have a max of 4 in any locations, It feels like it's kind of patched by slapping on the restrictions of I get 2 cubes, I get a -1 point, I can place this little man on the board if I break this other plateau that doesn't let anything to be moved. And it feels like they're patches to make the game work. Now, at the same time, you could say these are restrictions, and let's play a card just to show you what I mean. I'm going to play this 2 here, and I'm going to put some cubes down. I'll put one in there, and I'll put one in state assembly. Okay, and that was my turn. That's how the turn works. And now the AI player, and I'm going to click that is on the right lower side, the check mark to show that I made my decision. The AI is now going to go, and they're going to react. And that's all you're doing. You're reacting to what's in front of you. It doesn't seem that insightful. You could argue that all of these restrictions and things maybe are what make choices interesting, but I'm not really seeing it. I'm seeing it second by second what you got to do. At the end of the game, whatever of the 4 cards is a leftover. You have 4 cards, but you play 3. What those leftover cards do with the special banners, in the last round, you play them. And if you have matching colors, you have to remove dice. If they don't match, you can move dice. You can move markers around between the locations and try to win area control. These are all mechanics I have seen in other games. The dice, probably in an equivalent of a 20-minute game, you've seen an Iron Curtain and the cube breaking plateau. I just saw it in the Lincoln Assassination Trial and in other games. So I can't really say I'm seeing anything new here. I don't think it's particularly interesting. I don't think the feel of the Civil War comes through. I've seen it in other places. Lincoln, namely, by I think it's PSC Games, even though that's got a kind of crazy game in its own right. That even feels a little bit more Civil War-ish. I think this person also the creator made Washington's War. Fantastic game. Anyway, that is Fort Sumter. You play a card, you put some cubes, you hope you win your objective, and you get a point. It's okay. Okay, so if you have any questions about gameplay, let me know. For right now, Fort Sumter is a skip. Have a great holiday season. A fantastic 2021 is on the horizon, and I'll talk to you soon, friends. Bye.